we're definitely here to support all the members across the country, but in particular California. And so I'm happy that we have a number of partners lined up. My colleague from the California Labor Federation will be doing a presentation called When the Paycheck Stops. Along, we'll be having a presentation by Ian from EDD. He'll be going over some key information that everybody will need to have with unemployment and other supports that the state has to offer. We'll also have two local area coordinators from Orange County and San Bernardino. They'll be making a presentation along with a colleague of ours, Jason, will be going over covered California and insurance programs that are available for everybody. And then we'll actually have somebody from Cal HR that we're presenting as well. Some information where if you're been laid off, the state of California is ready to welcome you to a new career with them if you would like. And so we'll have that presenter, and then we'll be opening it up for Q&A at the very end. But the first colleague I want to bring up and ask to present is colleague from the California Labor Federation, Lucas Cruz.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lucas Cruz, and I'm with the California Federation of Labor Unions. And today I'll be doing a presentation entitled When the Paycheck Stops. The goal of this presentation is just to give some quick reminders of some different things that we may not be thinking about at the time, because when we're in panic mode, we're essentially just trying to figure things out day by day. So hopefully some of these tips are able to help you in this process of navigating your next career. So with that being said, we'll be going over surviving unemployment, personal finances, and a job search action plan. So we always want to start off by just reminding everybody that the world did not end. One, we know for sure that it's unfair, the situation a lot of people are finding themselves in, and in no way, shape, or form are we trying to minimize that. It's difficult, especially when you're first initially dealing with the job loss, but we just want to remind people of their power. And that I'm sure there's been multiple times in everyone's lives where there's been situations where we feel like things are very difficult and we're not able to get through it, but we've managed to get to this point where we're at today. And, and we stand on those struggles, and we just want to remind everybody that it's important to take a moment to, breathe and reflect and understand that there is a path at the end of the tunnel. So first, we'll be going over personal finances. So we want to first and foremost remind everybody also that unemployment, it does affect the entire family. And by saying that, we just want to remind you that you are not alone. I would definitely like to encourage everybody to talk to their family, to their partner, and lean on their support systems, especially in this time of crisis. That way everybody's able to understand the severity, one, but then two, be able to come together and be able to make changes as necessary. We also want to remind everybody to stay in contact with your union. AFGE will be continuously trying to do and provide resources and work. Us at the Federation will be also trying to provide various resources. And down the line, if there's any other presentations or job fairs or any other resources we'll be having available, we encourage you to just stay in contact with us, as we'll be sharing those out as we move down the line. And then three, also make sure you tap into community resources in your area. One of the best ones is 211. It's a directory, so you just call and let them know, and they'll be able to direct you to various resources. They include food banks, also mental health services, and they also help you apply for different state resources also. One of the first steps you can do to take charge of personal finances is beginning to reduce your household expenses. This can be, things as simple as, monitoring your subscription services. For example, we're in the streaming age, so a lot of people have multiple subscriptions to like Max and Netflix and Amazon Prime, whatever it may be. And it's just, seeing what you really need and don't need, and seeing if there's free options also for some of the services you might be using, or reducing them altogether. Also looking at your use of utilities, it's things as simple as just making sure lights go off and using energy not during peak hours. That way you're able to minimize your bills that come in. And the most important one is looking at other ways to reduce expenses, such as food. I previously worked at the state assembly, and during the pandemic, it was very interesting because all of us were in the same position of being laid off, and it was very difficult to get people to take advantage of resources like the food bank. There's a stigma that comes along with, either going in the line or going to that drive-through, but I just want to say that those resources are there for a reason, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a full replacement of your food. there shouldn't be any shame in going and getting grocery items that, will help you reduce your bill. For instance, if you do have the means to be able to get proteins from the store, you can, offset some of those costs by going to the food bank and getting your dry goods. So it's a great resource, and it's severely underutilized. So we just want to encourage people to utilize it in their communities. Taking charge of personal finances, one of the first steps should be, of course, reaching out to your creditors and negotiating your minimum payments. We just want to stress that you don't want to overpromise your ability to pay anything. You want to make sure that you're setting realistic goals for yourself that you can pay monthly. That way you don't damage your credit. You also want to check your eligibility for different benefits. If you call 211, they'll be able to help you in that process of seeing if you qualify for some of the resources we'll be sharing, like Cover California or CalFresh or any of those options. And then also, it's important to begin creating a budget. That way you're able to see your income that's coming in and the expenses going out. That way you're able to really look at those costs and cut what's really unnecessary. And also, another option would be exploring other revenue streams. As government employees, you might have picked up different skills along the way. Even random things you may have just picked up on your own hobbies that can become additional income. And it's just encouraging people to start looking at that as another form of resource. We have the gig economy, and of course, I don't want to say it's the best means of anything, but it's also something that can help you in the interim as you're pursuing a new job. And it's also looking at different programs that your county may offer. So, for example, in San Diego County, there is financial assistance through the county. It's a cash assistance if you qualify. It's just seeing what options you might have in your area. Section 3, job search action plan. So as you're starting to take stock of yourself and seeing what skills you might have developed, it's also beginning to start writing down and manifesting that next job that you want to be pursuing. There's nothing wrong with pursuing a different career. If there's some skills that you might have developed in another job that you might have been wanting to pursue, this is your opportunity to begin writing down those skills and those desired incomes that you might want to make. And again, taking some of the resources will be shared later at the AJCCs. They'll be telling you about some of the trainings they offer also in case you are looking for a career change. It's also getting prepared for that interview, pulling out that resume and making sure everything's up to date with all of the skills you've developed over the years. And just again, looking at those different trainings that are available to you. There's also some available resources on various websites such as USA.gov, or benefits.gov. You can also look at United Way for other various resources. And another one is checking in with your local power company. So, for example, if you're PG&E, SDG&E, most of them have a payment plan option. They might be able to benefit you at the time right now while you're pursuing your next career. And with that being said, we are here to help, and if it's not now and if questions arise in the future, this is our contact information for me and Cesar. You can always feel free to reach out to us directly if there's any type of assistance you need in accessing these programs. And I'm going to be dropping a link in the chat also to some of the various resources that we've put together for affected AFGE members throughout the state. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and pass it off back to Cesar. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lucas. I did put our new website that we established for federal workers in the chat. So anybody, please, feel free to use it. Feel free to send it to any colleagues that might have been affected by this layoff. And we'll be updating that website along with sharing this in the post of an email. So the next colleague that I'm gonna ask to present is Ian Harris with EDD.
All right, good evening, everyone. Let me go ahead and share screen. So my name is Ian and I am with EDD Unemployment Insurance out of the Buena Park area. And I will be showing you an overview of the application process and applying for EDD Unemployment Insurance. All right. So the purpose of unemployment insurance is to provide information. The purpose of unemployment insurance is to get people back into the workforce, but also give them some benefits while they're going through a hardship of losing their job to no fault of their own. So today we're going to be providing information on unemployment benefits and programs, and we're going to discuss the unemployment and training assistance programs and connect to other federal, state, and local resources. All right, so the way unemployment insurance works is it's paid for by the employer's taxes, and the criteria that you have to meet to be on unemployment is you have to be, one, physically able and available to work with no restrictions. And then also you have to be actively seeking work. And one that it doesn't say on here is you can't refuse any work. All right. So the range of benefits that you can receive as a dislocated worker is the minimum is $40 per week, and the maximum is $450 a week, and the maximum that you can receive unemployment consecutively is 26 weeks at the maximum rate. Your claim is open for a year, so if you haven't used your whole benefit because you found another job and you started working and then something happens where you're dislocated again within that 1 year period, then you're able to reopen your claim during that time. All right, and then the first week of your claim is considered a waiting period, so you don't get paid for that week. However, it doesn't deduct from your maximum balance. And all of our claims start on a Sunday. They go from Sunday and weekending on a Saturday. All right. One tool to that you can use to get an estimate of how much money you'll be receiving in benefits is the unemployment benefit calculator. So right here is our website, the website that you can go to. They're going to ask you a few questions and plug in some numbers, and it'll give you an estimate of how much benefits you can receive with us. All right. So there are 3 ways that you can apply for unemployment insurance. The most recommended is online, and I highly recommend it because it's quicker and it's more efficient. Um, the second is via fax or mail, which I would leave that to a last resort. The reason being is because sometimes there's typos, people give wrong information, and sometimes the people's handwriting isn't legible, so there's a lot of room for error when you're doing it by fax or mail. And then if there are any mistakes, it takes usually 3 days to mail back, and then three days to mail back to the department to get it sorted out and scanned and processed. So I would leave fax or mail for the very last. If you could try to avoid it, please do. And then also one thing, if you apply via fax or mail automatically, you'll have to go through an identification process that could delay your benefits. One thing about applying online, you do have to have or create an ID Me account. A lot of people might have it already if you've done your taxes or went on the IRS website. Um, I signed up when I used student discounts. I signed up for ID Me, and they also use it for Social Security. If you look on your Social Security online, you have to have an ID Me account. So you might already have it. However, if you're not really tech savvy and this is something that might scare you a little bit, then I would say secondary, you can call over the phone. Our number is right here, 800-300-5616. We're open from Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And currently right here, these are the languages that are readily available. However, if you don't speak this language, we also have an interpreter service that we can use that has hundreds of languages. So it'll just be someone translating, it'll be a third party translating between the claimant and the agent. All right. So the information that you'll need to file a claim, your personal information, which is like your social, your ID number, the information of your last employer, meaning your last day worked, and also if you worked in another state or if you were a military employer, employee or a federal worker, but we'll need additional information. But if you were in the military within the last 18 months, we would need, it's called a DD 214. All right. One thing that I do want to add, because and this is very important, during the application process is going to ask the reason for separation, and um, you are being laid off at no fault of your own. So when it asks, please say laid off and not fired. A lot of times people, they're under the assumption that they were fired, but no, if it was at no fault of your own, then you were dislocated, you were laid off. If you put that you were fired, you would have to have a determination interview, and it will delay your benefits. All right. So after you submit your application, allow 7 to 10 days for processing. During that time, we're just making sure there were no mistakes made on your claim. We're deterring fraud as well. So we're just doing a little extra check. And if you receive any message, if you receive anything in the mail asking you to reply back with additional information, please do as soon as possible so we can get you your benefits in a timely fashion. All right. And then you're gonna receive your award letter. It's gonna tell you the amount that you'll be receiving, and also you're gonna get your customer account number, and that will allow you to set up an account online, and you can do your certifications online. I will explain certifications in the next slide. But that's what the certification is, the DE 4581. You certify for benefits every 2 weeks. So I'll go on further detail about that in the next slide. So certifying for benefits, there's 3 ways to certify. You could do it online, which is highly recommended for the same reason as applying, which is if you make a mistake while you're doing a certification, it won't even allow you to continue until you correct it. So like I said, it's quicker and it's more efficient. As soon as you submit your certifications, your benefits go through instantaneously, and it'll be on your debit card the next business day, I'm sorry. You can do telecert. We've been having a little issue with telecert. However, we are committed to updating our we're committed to updating our digital infrastructure and our infrastructure in general in our new EDD Next project. So we're looking to correct things like that. And lastly, by mail. So once again, mail takes a little bit longer, and then if there's an issue, then we have to mail it back to you. That's 3 days, and then you mail it back to us. That's another 3 days back, and it could be something as small as you forgot to put a signature or you forgot a number. Like I said, if you do it online, it won't let you go further without correcting the mistake. All right. And certifying, it's a series of 7 questions. Pretty simple, pretty easy. It's going to ask you a question like, were you too sick or injured to work this week? Did you refuse any work? Did you work or earn any money? And I believe the last question would be, would you like federal taxes withheld from from your benefits? All right. So once everything goes through, you've answered your certification questions correctly, you did everything, you sent back all the information that was needed, this, that, and the third, you will receive, your payments will be authorized, and then you would be issued your benefits via a debit card. The debit card takes about 5 to 7 business days to after the date of issue, after the payment is issued, and it's good for up to 3 years. It'll be valid for 3 years. So hold on to it, because just in case something else happens where you might have to apply for state disability or paid family leave, the benefits will still be used, be dispersed on that same card. All right. And this is it's called the Money Network card. So if you've had unemployment in the past, it used to be Bank of America. However, we no longer use Bank of America as Money Network now. And here's their website. You can go on there, you can call to set up direct deposit, which I believe is highly recommended. It'll go straight, you can set it up with them and then it'll go straight to your bank account. And also, if you want to find out ATMs in your area that don't have any fees to withdraw, I believe at AMPMs you can do it, and I believe at Target you can do it as well. So you just go on the website and then you can type in your address and it'll show you all of the ATMs in the area, in your area, where you can withdraw the money with no fee. All right. And let me go to the next slide. All right. California Training Benefits, otherwise known as CTB. So this is a program to help you enhance some of your skills, or if you want to go into another field. This is an extension that the EDD offers, where you can go to school or training, and it'll give you an extension up to 26 weeks based upon the length of your training program. So one important thing, you have to notify us that you're interested in this. And if you're even remotely interested or thinking about it, give us a call and let us know that you're interested so we can notate that. It's right away, because if you don't do it after your 16th week of benefits is paid out, then you automatically would be disqualified for it. So if you're even thinking about it, just give us a call, and we'll send you some information on the program, like different schools and programs that are available. So one thing we have to note, this is an extension and an extension only. So this doesn't cover any tuition or expenses of the program or any utensils. However, a representative from the AJCC later on in this presentation will go over some programs or things like resources that they can provide you with that would be able to assist you with that, like the WIOA. All right. And while you're in the CTB program, you do not have to actively be seeking work. And you don't you can refuse work while you're doing this program. But right after, or if you're back on unemployment, you will have to be seeking work. So while you're on this program, while you're on CTB, you don't have to be actively seeking work. But if you're on a regular unemployment insurance claim, then you have to seek work. All right. And I believe that is it. So we're gonna hang it back, send it back over to you. Let me stop sharing screen. All right, take it away, Caesar.
Thank you so much, Ian, for everything that you presented. And once again, we'll be having this information available with the post email. So everybody that registered and put your email down, we'll be sending something out on most likely Friday after we organize the email to send out. The next presenters that we'll be asking are two AJCCs. They're called American Job Centers of California, that they'll be presenting on what resources they have. These two presenters, one is from San Bernardino and one is for Orange County, but there's AJCCs all over the state. In the chat in a second, I'll be putting in a link where you could find your local AJCC in the area, but I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Jane from San Bernardino. She'll be doing the presentation for her area.
Can you see my screen? I'm sharing it. I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
great.
we could see you.
Great. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Jane Labarge, and I'm a business services representative here at the County of San Bernardino. I work out of the Rancho Cucamonga AJCC, the Job Center. I'm also the Rapid Response Coordinator for this office. So we have 3 centers located in San Bernardino County. We have West Valley, Rancho Cucamonga, where I work. We have the High Desert, Victorville, and East Valley, San Bernardino. So at our AJCCs, we offer a lot of services and resources. So we have resume and job search assistance if you're looking for work. If you need assistance writing a resume or interview skills, we have workshops for those. We also offer personalized career planning. We have one-on-one coaching and mentoring. So we do have career coaches that you would be assigned to who can assist you. We offer on-the-job training and also vocational training opportunities on a qualifying and individual basis. So if you live in San Bernardino County, I hope that you do visit one of our centers. We're here to help you. So with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Marianne from Orange County to talk about the AJCCs in that area.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Jane. I appreciate that. I wanted to basically just do a quick hello to everybody. My name is Mary, and I am from the County of Orange. We wanted to start off by acknowledging that we do understand that job loss can be absolutely overwhelming, but we are here to share resources with you that can help you navigate this transition and get back to work as quickly as possible. We operate 2 American Job Centers in Orange County, one in Brea and the other in Laguna Niguel. However, if you live in Anaheim or Santa Ana, both cities also operate an American Job Center where you can access support. There's also all of the support that you can access. They are free services to you, and they will be able to help you with job searches, career transitions, and training opportunities. Whether you're looking for immediate employment or considering retraining for a new career, we have programs to support you. And a few of those programs, just as an example, they are career coaching and job search assistance, where our career specialists can help you with resume writing, resume review, interview preparation, and job matching services to connect you with businesses who are currently hiring. Additionally, we do also have training opportunities where if you're looking to enter a new field, we can provide access to these training programs in high demand industries, including healthcare, IT, advanced manufacturing, and more. We also have labor market information that we can assist you with, and that labor market information will help in identifying growth and declining industries to better assist you in your career options. In addition, we also have, and I believe Cesar is going to go on ahead and share this towards the very end, we also host additional multi-industry hiring events that happen throughout the month, and then large career fairs that happen throughout the year. Again, all of these services are free of charge to you. They are available to you, and we encourage that you take advantage of them. Please know that you do not have to wait until you are laid off to access these services. We have this, some people have the misconception or the misunderstanding that they have to wait until they're laid off to access the services. Please, you do not have to wait until you access, or you do not have to wait until you're laid off to access these services. You can actually go to the centers and access them now. So again, wanted to reiterate and remind you that our team is here to support in your transition. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we'll be happy to assist you and connect you with the appropriate centers. We do have about 4 upcoming job fairs and career events that are coming up within the next month or 2. We are going to go on ahead and send that information over to you as well, so you have access to those. Additionally, in the chat, I will also include the link to our events page so that you have the opportunity to look through our website and find out if there's any types of hiring event or any type of career fairs that you can attend, and you can just bookmark them and it'll be available to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane and Marianne. And in the chat, we did put a link to a Google folder that has all the flyers that Orange County has available with all the job fairs, and we'll definitely include it in the post event email with that available to everybody on this call, and feel free to share to anybody. The next presenter we have is our colleague Jason, who will be speaking about Covered California, which is the healthcare insurance plan and what's available for workers here in California. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Valle. I am a licensed insurance and financial advisor. I'm going to be covering the program that's probably the most popular out there to help you get health insurance after your layoff. I'm talking about the Covered California program. With Covered California, there's a couple of things that you have to keep in mind. The first is going to be that you're going to have a 60-day window from the date that you lose insurance from your employer to go ahead and sign up for Covered California, and that's due to a special enrollment window. You do not have to wait for open enrollment. This window is available to everybody who was signed up for insurance and is now losing coverage to no fault of their own by being a dislocated worker. There is no healthcare questionnaire. There is no there's no medical questions. You cannot be denied or dropped if you have pre-existing conditions. It's simply a matter of if you follow these simple steps that I'm going to give you, you'll go ahead and be eligible to get onto a plan as well. Financial assistance is available. The financial assistance is done in the form of a tax credit. That tax credit is calculated a little bit in a way that's a little bit difficult for the majority of you guys, because they're going to be using this year's income, not last year's income. Unfortunately, the system will want to default to ask you for last year's tax returns. However, in everybody's case, you're going to need to manually calculate your income for this year, including unemployment, any pay that you received from the government, any other sources of income. So all of that will have to be manually done. I understand that is a little bit more complicated. That's why we're here as a resource, and I'll go ahead and give you the numbers to our local offices. We do most appointments nowadays via Zoom or via telephone, but we do have offices in Ontario and Fullerton, Westlake Village. So if you live in any of those areas, you can always set an in-person appointment if you really feel that it's going to be difficult for you to do it on your own. As far as the income goes, this very easy to read flow chart will explain the income guidelines. But in all reality, when I talk about Covered California, what I want everybody to understand is if you take a look at the box on the far right-hand side, those are the incomes that correspond to how much a maximum income you can earn and still get assistance with Covered California. And I tell everybody that because many individuals who have applied perhaps for like Medi-Cal in the past, they may actually think that there's probably going to be no help for them. And on the contrary, there is help available through the Covered California program. And the income guidelines, this is just some general numbers. The numbers are actually dictated by your zip code. And so at the end of the day, just realize that, a family of four, these income guidelines have actually gone up. You can earn near $120,000 a year and still get assistance. The plans themselves break down into 4 different categories. You have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. The bronze plans are going to be your high deductible plans. I don't typically recommend them. However, if you just need basic coverage to cover emergencies, that's what this is for. We call it major medical insurance. Essentially, it's a $6,000 deductible before they cover most things. In the state of California, the most popular plan is silver. Most things done in a medical office setting are covered with a copayment. Hospitalization does have a deductible, which will fluctuate depending on your income and the amount of assistance you receive. Gold plans and platinum plans do not have deductibles. Whether you go to a hospital, whether you go to a specialist, a doctor, whatever it is, you pay copayments. But those copayments are higher on gold than they are in platinum. So depending on your needs for medical, the way this system would work is as follows. You provide us your estimated income information. We can help with that. You provide us the ages of everybody who appears on your tax returns, your zip code, and then we will go ahead and put that into the system and it will generate a dollar amount. That dollar amount is what you're eligible for to help lower the monthly cost of your plan. However, this dollar amount isn't some, pie in the sky money that comes out of nowhere. It's actually a tax credit. And what you're doing when you apply for Covered California is that you're asking for a tax credit up front, meaning that if you state your income to be, for example, $40,000, and then at the end of the year, your income ends up being $60,000, you may be charged back for benefits that you were not entitled to receive. So because of that, what we ask you to do is that as your situation changes, as you find work, if you decide to do work on your own, work for a temp agency, do Uber, do general construction, whatever it is that you decide to do, once you have income, not only do you need to report it to unemployment, you need to report it to Covered California so that we make sure that your premium is correct to what your income levels are being. And so that way you don't have any special surprises waiting for you when you file your next set of taxes. If you decide to go uninsured, there is a penalty. For this year, it's around $800, although it's calculated as a percentage of income. What I encourage everybody to do is just realize that if you go without insurance for more than 2 months, you may be subject to a penalty, and that penalty will be individualized. If you have questions on that, I'd recommend calling the Covered California offices, or you can call our offices or go onto the website, and then you can go ahead and get an idea of what that tax penalty will be. There's a lot of assistance out there, and in many cases, getting a basic plan like a bronze plan will actually be cheaper than paying a penalty. When it comes to enrollment, you have a couple of different ways that you can enroll. The website is coveredca.gov. Coveredca.gov is the general enrollment website. You're going to have to qualify for a qualifying event. Your qualifying event will be job loss. And therefore, you just put in the day that you lost your job and the last day you had insurance, and a special 60-day window will open up to allow you and your family to enroll in benefits with Covered California. Medi-Cal, on the other hand, is available year-round. So if it turns out that you or your family qualify for Medi-Cal, in the process of doing a Covered California application, the system will screen you and your family for Medi-Cal, and you'll be able to, and your file will be directed to the local Department of Health Services office to make the final determination. So you no longer have to go to 2 places. If you think you may qualify for Medi-Cal, but you're not sure, but you'd also like to apply for Covered California, the system will basically let you know which you qualify for. For Medi-Cal, the income guidelines are much more strict. Typically, you're looking at less than $1,800 a month for a family of 2 in order to qualify for Medi-Cal benefits. That being said, if you're an expectant mother, or covering an expectant mother, or have children in the household age 18 or under the age of 18 who are minors and dependents, those income thresholds go up. There are cases where some individuals may actually have both Covered California and Medi-Cal offered to them at the same time. If that's the case, don't worry about it. It happens every day. The part of your file for those individuals that qualify for Covered California will stay with your agent, or will be directed to your portal if you decide to do a self-enrollment online. For those individuals who qualify for Medi-Cal, their file will be passed on to the Department of Health Services. They may ask for additional information or questions, and they may have additional questions regarding income and layoffs and stuff like that, but they will make their own determination and help you get coverage as quickly as possible for very, very low cost. Again, I mentioned the 60-day window. You do have multiple enrollment options, the coveredca.gov website. We also offer enrollment assistance at no cost. The enrollment assistance that we offer is through, we are a state-approved agency to do Covered California. We've been doing it for 17 years, actually before even Covered California was around. And so we have a staff of 13 that's ready and waiting to assist anybody that needs assistance. There is no extra cost whether you go through us as the local agency, or if you go online and do it on your own. But simply, if you want that handheld assistance and to talk to a single point of contact and have somebody help you with the process, the phone number is available. But again, you also have the ability to go on coveredca.gov. So both those things are available to you, and both those ways of signing up are available to you. Our Dislocated Workers Assistance Program is dedicated just to help people exactly like you. And again, we don't charge anything for the services. So if you feel that you do need help with this process, feel free to reach out. Other than that, we pretty much covered California and Medi-Cal. I do want to quickly touch on Medicare. If you are somebody who is 65 years or older and have been getting coverage through work and are signed up for Medicare Part A, or are about to turn age 65, you actually qualify for Medicare. Medicare is its own ball of wax. I can probably do just 30 minutes on Medicare alone, but what I'm encourage you to do is the following. If you are in that situation, just simply call our offices and we'll be more than happy to direct you to the services that you need and help get you on your Medicare Part A and Part B as quickly as possible. That concludes the portion of the presentation regarding insurance. I'll go ahead and stay on for a few minutes in case anybody has any questions. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Caesar and the rest of the team. But thank you for your time and attention, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you for presenting. And for everybody here that's been affected by layoff, we actually have our partner from the state of California, Cal HR. We presenting the resources they have available for federal workers that want to come over to the state government. So I'll pass it over to Sally.
Hi, everyone. I've got about 10 minutes to speak here, so I'm going to do this pretty fast. But my name is Sally Lee, and I am the Assistant Secretary over Workforce Development at the California Government Operations Agency. My job, in a nutshell, is to connect good people to good state jobs and to remove barriers to state employment. So the state of California has more than 250,000 employees. We have 150 state departments, and at any given time, we have close to 3,500 job openings. All of you here are highly skilled, you're very capable, and there is a job for you with the state of California. And if you are a rapid response coordinator or work for a AJCC, the state of California has many resources to help you help your customers. And so I want to make sure that you are all aware of a new website that has all the resources you need to learn how to apply for a state job. And just a few hours ago, we launched a web page within that website dedicated just to our federal workers. And so I'll put some information in the chat. I also provided Caesar with some PDFs that he'll be sharing out, but I wanted to just quickly share the website with you because we do have a How to Get a State Job a webinar coming up soon that I really would like all of you to sign up for. So let me pull that up. Okay, can everyone see this website?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this web page right here just launched today. We have a virtual training specifically for federal workers on April 10th from 12 to 1. And our HR experts will be there to talk to you about how to join state service. We have a lot of other resources for you about how to apply, interview lists, hiring events. We have things about our disability hiring program, veterans preferences. And right here, I also worked really closely with our HR department on some FAQs for our federal workers. And so I myself have been working quite a lot with federal employees as well who are either looking for a job or afraid of losing their jobs, and walking them through the process. And so I added in quite a few questions that I'm often asked by federal workers about state jobs. And so that's available here as well. I've noticed in the chat that someone lives out of state and they're thinking about maybe moving to the state of California. We also have information here for you. And if you go to the main website here, we have so many upcoming events. So if you're in California, these events are virtual or in person, but you can visit this website and learn about all the different events. We have short videos on how to apply for a state job. And since you used to work for the federal government or still are working for the federal government, you understand the government process. Our process is very similar to the federal government. I noticed that the federal government, 80% of federal jobs requires some kind of assessment. It's very similar with the state. And so I will leave you with that information. And you've got, I also included the website in here and also an email to contact us regarding any questions you may have regarding state jobs.
Thank you so much, Sally. Now we're going to go to questions that are in the chat. So I'll go through the chat, and please, colleagues that are rapid response coordinators or EDD partners, please help answer this. Let me see. They were told doing this that that federal workers could only apply for unemployment with a paper application. I think Vivian's on the phone. Is that true or not true? You're not muted, but we can't hear you.
Okay. I was writing specifically to someone, and now I just changed the chat box to everyone. So I just sent a link. I highly recommend the affected federal workers. Please keep that link. So it tells you how you can apply, and no, it's not just paper application. So it tells you the different ways. And this page that I sent you on the link is specifically for federal workers. So it's not a generic state worker or it's specifically for your situation. So there's information on before you apply. So what documents you need to collect, because the application may look different than the generic application. It tells you how to apply. And then someone had asked about if there was a federal deferred resignation offer and if that was taken. So if you quit, you still may be eligible for benefits. And so the website also explains how that would work if you decide to apply.
Okay, can I get unemployment if I resign from my job? I think you just answered that one.
Yeah, so there's a little blurb on that site that explains the scenario if you decide to still apply, that you may still be eligible. So you have to read it and see if you fall under that scenario.
Yeah, and then if I'm a federal worker based in DC but looking to relocate to California, am I eligible for California training benefit?
That one, I would probably speak to unemployment directly.
So I messaged him back. So if he's if he or she is dislocated but has wages in the state of California, so it's based off of like he or she know that if they look at their last tax return, and I believe it's number 15 on their tax return, it usually says the state and no or NV or in his case DC. So it just depends on where they place those wages. So if they are in California, they're eligible for unemployment insurance claim, then yes. But if it's for another state, then
Okay. And then how is partnership different than covered California? So is partnership a federal program or? I'm not sure.
could you repeat the question?
How is partnership different than covered California? That
I'm
was
not.
by Ruth.
CRA, this is Jason. I'm not aware of any program called partnership. Covered California is an exchange that has the majority of your major insurance companies participating. So if there's something specific in Yolo County or something like that, then I'm not aware of it. But with Covered California, again, Kaiser, Blue Shield, Blue Cross, your main insurance companies will all be offering insurance through Covered California. If there's a local program available with assistance, I may not be aware of it through the Covered California program, so I would inquire at your specific counties to find out about that.
Quick interjection from Yolo County. Partnership, I believe, is one of the paying partners on the Medi-Cal side of it. So it depends on who is paying the Medi-Cal services. But Medi-Cal is our partner. Partnership is one of the paying agents for Medi-Cal in our area.
Thank you.